What up, y'all? DCFAYGOGUY. Welcome back to What's Happening Now, our look at the underground happenings. And actually, for this episode, we're going to pop our heads out and take a peek at the mainstream, because some very exciting shit happened in the mainstream that I didn't see coming. I think some people did. I haven't been following Linkin Park as closely as others, but it totally was a complete surprise to me. I'm going to leave that topic, though, kind of as like our main topic towards the end. There's other things that have been announced that I really want to talk about and dive into. So I want to save Linkin Park for the end, just because obviously this is a Juggalo channel, and I think most people are more interested in the Juggalo related stuff that I'm going to talk about here today in this episode. And if you are a fan of Linkin Park, or maybe you just never really dove into them, you can, stick around for that. But I want to jump right in and talk about Hallowicked, Halloween, however you call Halloween. Events are popping off, and I think all of them have been announced already. Everything is there that needs to be announced. One of the windows I forgot to pop open and talk about, that I'll just talk about here because I did see it. I think it was posted maybe in Whatnot, maybe in the Ala Zulu Discord, but I did see the Long Live Evil street team share it, post it, and kind of make it more like official. There will not be a Night of the Zooligans this year. My assumptions, my guesses, I don't think it's that it just hasn't been doing good. I honestly think that they did a couple of things. One, I think that they were trying to give the ups to SON and his Samhain Ceremony, which is supposed to be the final ritual, the birthing of King Umbra, the bastard son. So I think them not doing Night of the Zooligans was a way to really kind of highlight that event for SON and let him really shine with that. They kind of did that at Camp Zool as well. They let him close out the event with the first ritual. So I feel like that's mainly why they're not doing Night of the Zooligans this year. But I also think that they're probably trying to get everything ready for Gods of Evil Rise to come out, the Mikey Clark record. There's been these flyers that have been circulating. I've been seeing them online. I guess they're coming through. They're coming in Long Live Evil packages that people have made from the Emporium of Evil, the Zool Mart. Emporium of Evil is the store that they have at Camp Zool. So there's this flyer that's going around stating that the release date is late 2024. So I think that they're gearing up really for that as well. So I don't think it's... I really don't think there's like troubled water or anything like that as far as like where they've been having Night of the Zooligans, because I know last year they had it at Terror Town, and I guess Terror Town just like is under new management, like new ownership. But from what I've seen, it's kind of business as usual. So I don't think that it's anything like that. I think they just really wanted to give the ups to SON, that they maybe wanted to focus on getting their album ready, because this motherfucker is going to make a big splash. So let's go ahead and talk about the Samhain Ceremony, because it has been revealed it is going down in Youngstown, Ohio, basically on the border of Pennsylvania. It's way too far for me, unfortunately. I wish that I could make the drive out there, and maybe one of these years I will make it out to there, because from what I'm told, there's some really nice spots there where they go and they have wings. So maybe someday I'll check it off my list and make it worth my trip, and take a couple days off, go see Gettysburg, which is something I've always wanted to do, go to the Flight United 93 Memorial, the 9/11 Memorial that's out there. I could make a little vacation out of it. So maybe that's something I need to do eventually. I had all my cards kind of in stock ready for Night of the Zooligans, and so when it didn't happen, I wasn't even prepared or even thinking about Samhain Ceremony. I almost assumed they were going to be lumped together and it was going to be at Terror Town. That was kind of where I was gearing up for, and when it didn't happen, I was like, oh. So I basically have been looking at all the Halloween events, like which one am I hitting up? But we will get to that as we're going through. It's going down Friday, October 18th, like I said, in Youngstown, Ohio, at the West Side Bowl. They've done mini shows there. Super Show's been there. I think every year Super Show's been there? I feel like there's a couple times they had it in Fort Wayne. I don't know, but they've got a hell of a lineup for this show, and that to me is going to be fucking killer. There's one name on here I can't even fucking pronounce. It's hard to really read it. I hate underground art. I hate artists that have weird graphics. They have weird fonts for their shit. So I'm going to name the ones that I know. I'm going to name the ones that I can read. Keegan Grimm, the Zooligans, Apollo Exodus, Clockwork E, Super Famous Fun Time Guys, King fucking Gordy, A La Zulu, and SON. If there was one more name on there, and the reason I say this is because King Gordy just did a group EP it's called the Wick Kids, like WIC, like the WIC program that you can get, that new moms can get on for their kids and for them. Wick Kids, it's got King Gordy in it, it's got Gruesome in it, it's got is it Donnie Menace or Doc Gruesome that's in that? I think it was Donnie Menace. There's another 2 guys that are in it. I don't remember their names. And then it's got Stir Crazy, which I assume Stir Crazy did the production. So it was a really, really dope fucking little project. But King Gordy and Gruesome are 2 artists that have actually done stuff together before. They've done a couple albums, I think 2 of them that I know for sure, called How to Gag a Maggot. I think there's 2 of those, right? Or there's one of them for sure that's How to Gag a Maggot. Maybe the other one's a different name, and maybe that's another group completely. But I know I've seen King Gordy and Gruesome together before. King Gordy is somebody that I've known for many, many years. I've just never checked him out because, one, I knew he was a horrorcore artist, and I was always one of those juggalos that was like, I don't listen to wicked shit unless it's signed as psychopathic, which is something I've completely erased from my brain in recent years. So King Gordy is somebody I definitely need to start checking out because I think he killed it in the Wick Kids project. But if they had Gruesome build for Samhain Ceremony 4, I think my interest for it would definitely go way up. Not saying that Samhain Ceremony 4 does not look dope as fuck because it's got a killer lineup. But, these are a lot of groups that I did get to see at Camp Zool. I was pretty much expecting and anticipating a lot of them to be at Night of the Zooligans. The biggest thing that's really got me kind of held up on it is just the absolute distance of how far away it is. It's something I definitely want to do someday just because Megs and I like to make new adventures. So where we're kind of landing at for this year, and we'll get to it, is not that far just yet. But definitely someday I think we'll probably hit either a Samhain Ceremony or a super show if they have it at Youngstown, Ohio again, which I believe, if I've seen it correctly, I feel like I had seen it said that Super Show will always be there. Maybe I misheard that, but definitely someday. So Samhain Ceremony 4 is going down Friday, October 18th. That is one of the many Halloween shows going down. Of course, finally announced the Train of Terror tour, which is the tour leading up to Hallowicked. This is billed as Train of Terror tour I think it should just be called the Train of Terror Hallowicked tour. I feel like they kind of foobarred on their flyers a little bit with that because I feel like that has a better ring to it. But they finally announced the locations, the dates, and I was completely wrong. I had a hunch they were going to hit Fort Wayne, Indiana, and that was going to be super doable for me. Granted, where they're at, the closest show for me is Joliet, Illinois, which is kind of it's basically a suburb of Chicago, more or less. It's right on the outskirts of Chicago. It is super doable for me. Super doable. The problem I have is it falls on a Tuesday, so, getting the time off to do it. I have 2 vacation days left at work, so, I could make it happen. But on the same hand, I've seen ICP a numerous amount of times, and as dope as it would be to see this, one thing has kind of got me holding back on it, and that the biggest one is the fact that it's in the middle of the week. It's the fact that I've got to drive as far as I do in the middle of the week. Got to get a hotel. I really wanted to go to the store. I haven't seen ICP this year. It'll be, this will be the first year since fucking 20... What? Did I go in 2022? No. We didn't see ICP in 2022 at any shows. So, no, I take that back. This won't be the first year in many years that I haven't seen ICP. This will be the second year. But, you know, I was kind of hoping to go see ICP. But the other thing about this that kind of has me reserved is they said that each of the 8 shows is supposed to be different. Which means one of two things. Either the set lists are going to be the same, but they're just going to be kind of randomized and different from the previous. Or they're planning to perform different songs for each show. And if that's the case, yikes. Not to be hateful, not to be negative, but I know Violent J in many recent years has struggled to do, like, perform and remember his lyrics. And I guess that's an issue that they had at the Gathering this year during the Red Show, is he forgot a lot of his lyrics there. So if that is the case, this might not be a Train of Terror tour. This might be a train wreck tour. So it's kind of a big reservation for me as well. And I've seen ICP so many times, and I know I said in previous videos that when he foo-bars the lyrics, I'm not quite as bothered as other people just because I know the songs by heart and I'm singing along anyways. But, you know, that was back when ticket prices weren't as high as they tend to be now. So not to be the negative Nancy, I don't anticipate... Like, Shags is going to kill it. Shags is going to do it fucking regardless. Shags is holding it down, for sure. So, yeah, the Train of Terror tour has been announced. They're hitting... They're going fucking Tennessee, Alabama, Arkansas, Missouri, another stop in Missouri, which I guess is technically fucking Illinois because it's St. Louis. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. They're hitting Joliet, Illinois, which is essentially Chicago. And then they're hitting, of course, Detroit at the Masonic. We could probably make Detroit... Detroit could be doable for us as well. But again, with vacation time, it's just... You know, if I'm going to go to Detroit, I'd like to hit Fright Fest too. And that I definitely cannot do. So, on that note, I'm not mentioning Fright Fest in this video. I know we're talking Halloween events. Fright Fest has already been announced. They announced that shit when they had it locked down. So, we've already covered that in a previous video. I'm not going to cover it again here. We already know how, we already know what's going down with that. But the other one that got announced, Buckshot's Hollow Bleed 5, going down in Louisville, Kentucky, as it has been for the last five shows. I'm pretty sure they've all been in Louisville. It's Blaze the Dead Homie and Buckshot. You got Twisted Insane, Super Famous Fun Time Guys, Loon Squad with their Lunacy album release party, J Rumma, Raxputin, Trapped Resner, Stoneface, and KY Creeps, which I think is supposed to be Kentucky Creeps. So on there, definitely Super Famous Fun Time Guys, who I want to see. Blaze and Buckshot, I want to see. Twisted Insane, I'd be curious to. I've never really dove into his music. And Loon Squad, they've killed it in the past. Everyone else is kind of meh. But, yeah, Megs and I are actively making plans to go to Hollow Bleed. So that is probably the one we're going to go to. That event falls on a Saturday. That one is going down 10/19, October 19th. So it's on a Saturday. It's in a drivable distance. So that's probably the one we're going to end up at. And also on that note, I do want to talk about this as well, because this is what's happening now. This is the news. Blaze and Buckshot are putting out a collab album called Blockwork Morgue. And it's locked behind a VIP package. And I feel like an album like this, doing a collab album with Blaze, I don't think that this album is going to stay locked in a VIP. Buckshot is very notorious for putting out exclusive albums through physical media. Whether it's something you pre-order from his site, you got it at a show, and then 2 weeks later, he typically will put it out on DSPs. So if this album stays exclusive, I think it would stay exclusive as just a CD, but then drop... that made no sense. I think it would stay exclusive as a CD just at the Hollow Bleed, or just part of the Hollow Bleed VIP package. I don't know if he's planning to release it as its own CD later, or if he's just going to have the CDs be only available for VIP members. But I would assume he's going to drop it on DSPs later. I don't see him holding this album back, because again, it's him and Blaze. And to me, that shit that's going to be a banging album. You know, Blaze, the Dead Homie, more of like the gangster rap. And Buckshot definitely, to me, shines in that genre. You know, when he did the first Hell's Kitchen album, I was like blown away. I was like, fuck, now this is some Buckshot I can get behind. I think Buckshot kills it better in that style of music. And I think it's because going into like maybe his accent and maybe like his cadence, I think he can rap better on like a gangsta style beat. So if the production on this album is right, the theme of it is right, I think this EP could be fucking dope as fuck. So I really do hope it comes out on DSPs later. If not, then hopefully somebody will sell their physical CD at a reasonable price if it doesn't come available fully for everybody else. But an album like this, I don't see Buckshot holding that back. I just don't. So, yeah, Hollow Bleed going down October 19th, and that's the one that Megs and I will most likely be going to. On the news of shows, the Mighty Morphin Whackness Tour has wrapped. It's done. It's over. The Mighty Morphin Whackness EP still is only available for those who went to that tour. But there is a glimmer of hope. They just released a new single for Let Me Go off of that album. It is available on streaming right now. I haven't gone and listened to it on streaming. I have heard the Mighty Morphin Whackness EP. I did get the file sent to me. In all honesty, I've listened to it like 2 or 3 times. And goddamn it, Whipstick was right there in my head. I know he wanted this to be exclusive. I think he wanted to make this like a very special project that only people that went to the show would get to hear. And unfortunately, we are in the internet age where that's just not going to, I don't think it's going to stay that way. I think too many people are going to take it and share it. And understandably, I've made videos in the past and I've always felt like I hate exclusives because, one, I'm a music lover. So I love getting to hear all the music that people put out. So I'm one of those people, if I get something exclusive and somebody else is out there and they weren't able to make it to the show, I'm like, here, give it a listen. But there was something about this fucking project and knowing that Whipstick wanted it to stay exclusive that when I listened to it, I felt like a kid peeking at his presents. And it was like, call it corny, call me whatever you want to call me. I couldn't enjoy it. It felt wrong listening to it, knowing that I didn't buy the CD, that I didn't go to the show. So I've listened to it 2, maybe 3 times, and I just haven't gone back to it. And actually, I ended up deleting it off my phone. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to erase this so it's not there. And the only way I'm ever going to listen to it is if I make it to a show or I buy the CD from somebody. And I say that because it was actually not really announced, but teased. Super Famous Fun Time Guys made a post yesterday promoting the new single that is out. They were giving us a taste of the whackness with Let Me Go. And the caption says, "It's here. You weren't. CD's not available. This is all you get. Leg 2 will have other chances. Let us know where you want us to come." And when they first announced this show, they first announced that they were going to have this EP and it was only going to be available on the tour. I immediately was like, they got to do more shows. This cannot be it. They have to do, like, I'm not saying they have to, like, I'm nobody's boss. But that feeling in me was like, this is too dope. This is too awesome for them to only do, what was it, 6 shows is what they ended up doing on that tour. Like, they need to do more. This is a dope concept. This is a dope group, assuming that Mighty Morphin Whackness turns into an actual group, like a super group that's Fun Time Guys and Clockwork E. And it's something that in the future they do more releases for and they do more shows for. Like, this is such a dope concept that I can't see it being so limited to just the 6 shows, to just this one project. I feel like this is something that could evolve. Again, this has got to be something that they want to do. It's got to be, I feel, more organic. It can't be something that just because some bearded asshole on fucking YouTube says, do this. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying I think the concept is so fucking dope. And there's so many people that are down for it. The fucking jerseys that they had at those shows where it was like half a Power Ranger helmet and then like half them, it was so fucking cool, man. So fucking cool. Somebody posted on Reddit a picture of them with the Mighty Morphin Whackness, essentially. I'm just going to say that. With them wearing those jerseys. And I had commented that those jerseys were so fucking dope. And that person then replied and said that they didn't have them for sale, which I don't, my assumption is they won't ever sell those jerseys, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think that those are they're kind of like their uniform for this group. So having those jerseys, I would love to see them ride this fucking train until the wheels fall off. Like leg 2, leg 3, leg 4, maybe turn it into a show that happens at Super Show, maybe turn it into something that happens at Camp Zool. Like, I hope they continue to do stuff together and they do it under the umbrella of this name, Mighty Morphin Whackness, because I think it's just such a great concept. So fucking dope. And the EP is actually really fucking banging. The few times that I listened to it and I was like, yo, this is dope, but I felt wrong doing it, so I just haven't listened to it. And that's in full honesty. I swear to God, I'm not just fucking blowing smoke. I swear to fucking God, I've listened to it 2-3 times, and I just haven't been able to go back to it because it just feels fucking wrong. So yeah, Mighty Morphin Whackness, leg 2. It sounds like it's happening, and hopefully they fucking hit Indiana, whether it be Fort Wayne or Indianapolis. I tagged In the Pit Photography on Facebook because I was like, let's make this happen. Because I don't know a goddamn thing about promoting. Not the first fucking thing about promoting a show, booking a show, none of that. Don't know a fucking thing about it. And from what I've seen, it sounds like it's a lot of work. So I'm just going to leave it to the professionals, and I know In the Pit Photography have dipped their toes in that plenty of times, obviously with Super Show and other shit like that. So I tagged them. I was like, let's make this happen. Let's bring it to Indiana. And they replied that they would love to. So fingers crossed that's the case. Indianapolis or Fort Wayne, if they are booked for one of those shows, weekday or not, I'm going to be there because this is too fucking dope to miss. So yeah, moving on to kind of a sub-main event of this. I'm sure you guys all saw last Sunday, September 1st, my icon changed. I posted a little video on all of my social media, my Twitter, my Instagram, my Facebook, here on YouTube. Mission Infect, the draft. We are mere days away. I'm so fucking excited for this. Make sure you head over to missioninfect.com right now. The site, it's not back up, but it is back up. You can go on there right now. You can make an account and you can kind of add people. It's almost like this social media site built into the Mission Infect website. So this is kind of our first glimpse into maybe what the draft is going to be. It feels like a very much relaunch of their original Mission Infect. The original idea behind Mission Infect started as a street team. And in fact, I'm not even going to fully try to break it down for you so that I'm not incorrect. I'm actually just going to link a video in the description right now. Robbie from Do It For The Underground did a wonderful job breaking down Low-Key's discography. And for anybody who doesn't really know much about Low-Key or is curious about Low-Key and they're not really sure where to start, I think his breakdown is absolutely great. I can't remember the episode number, but it's like titled For the Goats, One for the Goats or something like that. In it, he does talk about Mission Infect. Totally recommend you guys watching that. I've told Robbie like twice now, and I'm gonna keep fucking drilling it into him because I want to see him do it. Robbie, if you don't know, used to do, I guess technically still does, Twisted History on Instagram. Used to do like these history breakdowns. He does it on the UPC Discord. Robbie is so fucking great at like breaking down people's history. He's so good at giving history lessons on artists. He's got a real talent for that. And I would love to see him do like standalone videos of that on Do It For The Underground instead of putting them in an episode with other clips or other segments. And I don't mean that to be disrespectful to the other creators that are a part of that crew, but I think having a guide and making a playlist that is like a guide of different artists is something that we need in the underground. I feel like it's super essential. We need someone who can make these little guides for people, for new fans to go check this shit out. Because I constantly, all the time on Reddit, will see people like, I'm new to ICP, what should I check out? And I think having guides like that would be perfect. And I know that's something I teased in a video of mine called What's Happening Soon. I talked about the listener's guide, which is very similar to that. It would basically be me going into different artists and me recommending what I think people should check out based on giving examples. It's something that is so early in development. I haven't fully decided how I want to do it, because there's certain artists that I don't think I would do a very good job doing. And actually, at one point, I thought about kicking the idea over to Robbie to do on Do It for the Underground. I just never did. But he already does really great history breakdowns, and I think it's a real talent that he has, and I would love to see him do that as a series on Do It for the Underground, and break them away from the episodes and do them as their own series on that channel. I think it would be a great series. I think people would love it. I think it would really help that channel out with growing. But yeah, I think he's got a fucking talent for that. So make sure you go check out that episode. Definitely check out that guide for Low Key's music, because it's fucking perfect. He's so good at doing that shit. So yeah, Mission Infect, the draft is coming up. I don't really know what to expect. I have like hunches of what I think it could be. The event is called the draft. Typically in a draft, that's recruiting soldiers for the army. So you could essentially say that I feel like they're going to recruit new members to the actual Mission Infect group. But based on this website, because there's an application on there to become part of like a street team. So it looks like they're also drafting and bringing back the street team side of what Mission Infect used to be, which is super fucking dope, super fucking exciting. I don't know if we're going to get new music with this event or not. If they recruit new members to the actual Mission Infect group, then I would have to say they have to release something, maybe not right away, but eventually. I feel like that's got to be in the cards, just because you're recruiting new members to it. And, if you're doing this huge relaunch, definitely new music for sure would be great. Which there is new music from Mission Infect that dropped earlier this year. Armageddon, absolute banger of an album. I've done a review. You can go listen to the album right now over on Lowkey's YouTube channel. You could go to listentolowkey.com, but that part of the site is what's becoming the new Mission Infect website. So I assume maybe once the actual launch of the new website and the draft takes place, you will probably would be able to go to that site and then listen to the music for free there. But you can definitely go listen to it on any of the streaming sites as well. Armageddon is an absolute banger, and really their discography is a banger. If I was going to recommend a starting point, I would say Armageddon, just because it's the most recent. But then I would also say probably Phase 3, Chemical Threats Phase 3 is an absolute fucking banger. And, if you want a good starting point, those are the two. Really soak those up and listen to the shit out of those, and then go explore the rest. That is what I would suggest. But super fucking excited for the Mission Infect draft. As it inches closer, and this website came out, they're enlisting people, I'm like, fuck, man, Mission Infect is ready to take the fuck back over in the underground. And I am here for it, and that's why I made the new shout out to 4A2 Graphics. I hit him up. I was like, hey, can you take my little icon and put a gas mask on him? All I expected him to do was just like put a gas mask on the actual face of my little Mario guy. He fully like redid everything, and I couldn't be like any fucking happier with it. So thank you to you for doing that for me. And yeah, I'm so fucking excited for this Mission Infect shit. So fucking excited. And right in the middle of all of that, Linkin Park brought some major fucking news, and I wasn't expecting it. Now, obviously, they did the 20th anniversary for Hybrid Theory back in 2020. They just did the 20th anniversary for Meteora last year. They did little box sets for both of those. And in both of them, they released some new but old material, stuff that they had done in the studio, kind of forgotten freshness style. It's music that they had that they just never put out, and they put it out on this box set, right? So they had been kind of staying active, but not really doing anything major as far as shows, as far as new music in regards of something they've recorded recently. And then fucking the other day, I think it was like Thursday night is when they did it, because I seen it everywhere Friday, and I myself checked it out Friday. They did a live stream where they did a performance. They have a new album coming out in November with a new singer, Emily Armstrong from, is it Dead Sarah? I think is the name of the group. Never heard of it. Never heard of her. But I watched the live stream. I watched her perform old songs. And I gotta say, I'm happy. I'm here for it. And I am A-OK with her joining Linkin Park. I see a lot of mixed reviews. I see a lot of mixed reactions to it where people are not sure. Of course, you've got any fucking toxic fans in any fan base that are like immediately just shitting all over this decision, shitting all over her. And, you know, I mean, that's unavoidable. And my only advice to anybody who is a fan and is seeing that shit, I would say just kind of stay away from the comments, because you're gonna continue to see it. Like, I think Linkin Park continuing on in this way is very, very dope, very awesome. And I think they've done a very good job at being respectful, because like, this wasn't something that just happened overnight. This is something that 7 years, it's been 7 years since Chester passed away. And I think that I think we're at a point now where us as fans and them as a band can definitely move forward. And I think that they're doing it in a good way. And there was an interview I watched where it had everybody there, and Emily, one of the things that was asked to her was about like, how did she feel doing this and, you know, taking on that role that is what Chester used to do. And she made a really, really, like, one of the things that she said really stood out to me. And it was that when she first heard Linkin Park and she heard Hybrid Theory, she was in a band, but she was like a guitar player. And when she heard One Step Closer, she like had this spark of, I could do that. I could sing like that. And that inspired her to become the singer that she eventually became. So for me, that was like a light bulb kind of went off, like, oh shit, this is like kind of full circle with her joining Linkin Park now. And I couldn't be happier. I've every time I've listened to her sing, she sounds eerily similar to Chester without replacing Chester. Like, obviously he's unique and nobody will ever replace him. But I think her vocal style, her energy is so close to his that I absolutely love it. Hearing her sing some of the songs and the way that she hit some of those vocals the same way that he could, not quite the same. There were some of them I feel like she couldn't quite hit them as well as he could, but she did it in her own way without trying to do it like he does. And I think it's perfect. This just feels like such a perfect fit to have her part of the group. So I'm fucking excited for some new Linkin Park. Based off of the single that they put out already, I don't think it's going to be anything like it. The only thing that I would say is as long as it's nothing like the last album they put out with Chester, I think it's called One More Light. I did not care for that album at all. But I'm not one of those fans that I only liked Hybrid Theory, I only liked Meteora. I was for many years. But a couple years ago, I actually like branched out and fully listened to Minutes to Midnight. I've listened to 1,000 Suns. I've listened to Hunting Party. I've listened to Living Things. And I think those are all fucking great. They have really great tracks on all of them. It's just, I think people want a certain sound from Linkin Park, and they've wanted to not do the same thing. They always want to experiment, which really that's the original concept, because they were originally going to call themselves, well, their original band name was Zero, but then they wanted to call themselves Hybrid Theory. But I think for legal reasons they couldn't, so they ended up landing on Linkin Park, which is why the first album is called Hybrid Theory. And kind of the whole Hybrid Theory is it's a mix of rock, rap, electronica, like techno, you know, hip hop. It's a hybrid of different types of music. And so I think it's very important that they always do something different. And I think that they've really done that with every album they've done. So I'm a big fucking fan of Linkin Park, and I absolutely, a lot of their music, I definitely fucking really feel it in here. So super excited to see that they're back and that they're going on tour, and that they will begin to do shows in the future. And I may actually get to see Linkin Park, not as the original group that I would have wanted to, but I am completely happy and content with the Linkin Park that has Emily Armstrong, because I think that, again, she just brings a very similar energy, and her vocals, to me, are similar enough to Chester's. So I'm super fucking excited for this. So yeah, that happened right in the midst of me gearing up for Mission Infect and, you know, listening to the new Mad Max album and, you know, listening to fucking Mission Infect albums. So yeah, super fucking dope. But that is going to be it for this episode. Tell me down below what you guys are excited for. Which Halloween show are you heading for? Are you heading for the actual Hallowicked show? Are you heading for just one of the Train of Terror shows? Or are you hitting them all, baby? Are you a big baller like that? So tell me down below what you guys think about what's happening now. I thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.